Good morning, friends. I am checking in before I check out for the next few days. I realized over the last couple months that there's a habit that I have that I thought I should share with you because there are so many people that I know who struggle with feeling like their time isn't theirs. And I've felt like this for most of my adult life, that constantly rushing, constantly in a hurry to get to the next thing and get this one thing done and accomplish the next thing and make sure this person's happy and cure that person's problems. And all of those things can be incredibly overwhelming, but they also steal your life from you. They steal days and weeks and months that you can't ever get back. Hey, Tony, good morning. It's good to see you on here again. And I have had the benefit of having a handful of nudges in my life that were externally instituted to get on the path of genuinely living the truth according to what my soul actually wants, what my soul feels, how I'm called to show up in my life. And the go-to question that I think most people have, and I think my friend Andrea commented on this last night, is, if you were to die tomorrow, what would you choose differently now? What would you do differently? If you knew that you had 24 hours to live, 30 days to live, 3 months to live, how would you do things differently? What would you actually do? And I think so few people actually give weight to this question. If you actually stopped and thought about what does it look like to only have 90 days to live out all the things you want to do. And although that question is beneficial and it serves a lot of people in making better choices that are more aligned with who they want to be and the life they want to live, I have a different take on that question, because I think there are a lot of people who, regardless of what your spiritual or religious doctrine is, there are a lot of people who can look at that question of, if I died tomorrow, if I knew I was going to die tomorrow, what would I do differently today? They look at that question and say, I'm going to be dead. I'm going to do what I need to do, but I'm going to be dead. I'm not going to regret things because I'm already going to be dead. I'm not going to feel the pain of regret. I'm not going to feel the angst of what if I did this? What if I wrote that book? What if I started that business? What if I took that trip across the country, around the world? Or what if I said these words to this person that I haven't actually said? And one of the benefits of being so sick and being told and believing for 7-8 months that I was never going to live my life like I am currently, one of the benefits of that is I had a front row seat to what my life was doing, what was happening in my world, but without being able to participate in it. And so I want you to think about, either tonight or tomorrow, somewhere in the next 24 hours, imagine lying in your bed, your specific bed, the one you have right now, lying in your bed, looking at the comforter you have, the walls that you have surrounding you, the colors that are in your room, the pictures, the art, the piles of laundry, the treadmill that has laundry on it. Look at the world that you are currently in your bedroom. And imagine what it's like lying there, looking at the last 24 hours of your life, not participating in it. So you weren't the one to tuck your kids into bed. You weren't the one to run to the grocery store to buy food for your family. You weren't the one to go to work to provide income, to make progress for your financial goals or have an impact. And what are the things that you would miss if you had to sit in bed and watch your life happen? What are the things that you maybe even complain about now that you would wish that you could do? Now, I have plenty to say about this, as you would imagine, but I am not here to tell you what mine are. I'm here to help you not miss another moment. My intention with today's share is really to invite you to think about what your life would be like if you had to just watch it. And I, haven't died yet, thankfully, because I still have some things I want to do. But I don't know that it's worse to die. I don't know that it's worse to die when you haven't done everything you want to do. It felt pretty awful watching my life pass me by and not be able to take it back, not be able to go back and say, oh my gosh, I didn't get these things done. I was terrified and had to come to terms with the fact that I may never go to one of my kids' school events again. I may never be able to work out of my bed again or work at all because my cognitive function and my sensory overload was so severe. And so I had all of these epiphanies that you may have if you give yourself time to really think about not being able to do the things you do in a 24-hour period, in a week, in a month. Think about what physical activities did you invest your time in? And what did you put off? I'll do that later. I'll do that when I lose the weight. I'll do that when the kids are grown. When the bills are paid off, I'll do that. When you have X amount of dollars in the bank, that's when you'll take that trip, or that's when you'll go on vacation, or that's when you'll show up to your hobby or your passion and actually do something about it. Who haven't you reached out to? Who are the people that you haven't said things to that you would like to because you're nervous about what their response would be, or you have plenty of time, so you'll get to it when you have enough courage, or who haven't you released your grip from? What relationships are you struggling with right now that you're frustrated with that you could let go so that you're not wasting time and energy on holding on to the fear or anger or resentment or contempt or sadness from the relationship that is something that you aren't a part of anymore or that you're ambiguous with? These are the things that you have the power to address now and make the shift to a different direction. So what if you had to walk away from everything you are currently working on, personally and professionally, and lie in bed watching but not participating in your own life? What if you had 3 hours a day for the rest of your life to engage with the things and the people that you care about? 3 hours a day from now, however old you are now, until the day you died, what would you actually do with those 3 hours a day? What would be the most important things for you to do, for you to engage with? Would you spend more time writing? Would you eliminate some of the relationships that you tap into only because you have enough time or because it's what you've always done? What would you do with those 3 hours? How would you use that precious time you had left every day? And what would you say yes to and what would you say no to? These are important questions to ask, because whether it's 3 hours or an hour or 3 months, it's the only lifetime that we know of that we have right now. And it's your responsibility to make sure that you don't end up in a situation lying in bed watching your life happen without taking action now when you're physically capable of it. When you're emotionally and mentally able to move forward, to make progress, to build a stronger, more satisfying life for yourself, now is the time to do it, because you have no idea what's happening next. Sure, you could die any minute. Awful things happen. People's lives are altered in ways that we don't expect all the time. One of the things we don't realize is that we could have our life altered in a way that we actually have to watch the life we wanted to live and not be able to live it, and have to live out the rest of 10, 20, 40, 50 years with regret of, if I had only known I only had 35 years to do the things I wanted to do, I would have done so many things differently. I would have forgiven so much faster. I would have let myself off the hook for mistakes that I made so much faster. I would have professed my love to the people I care about and my gratitude for what they added to my life. I would take the adventure. I would take the risk. Whatever it is, the things that you are scared to say out loud right now, whatever goals that you don't want to tell anybody else about, those are the things that you deserve to take into consideration. Those are the things that your heart and your soul and your future self will thank you for doing something about today. And so this is the question I want you to ask yourself. What do I want to celebrate that I did if I ever have to watch my life from the sidelines? So I ask myself this a couple times a day. I ask myself, what if tomorrow I can't get out of bed? What do I want to be able to look back on yesterday being happy I did? Am I going to be happy that I spent 4 hours scrolling through Instagram and Facebook instead of connecting with my kids and making eye contact and listening to them and dancing with them and building Legos and drawing dogs and all the things we do with our kids? Am I going to be regretful that I didn't sit down and have a conversation with my husband about his passions and his dreams and his fears and offer support and encouragement. Am I going to regret not sharing myself with the people that want to know me better and want to support me in the ways that I need to be supported? These are the things that matter. And if you're not making time for these things, there is a good chance that you will one day regret it, and it's not something worth regretting. You can do something about it now. There's all kinds of things that are happening in the world that you have no control over, but we have absolute control over how we use our time, and we have absolute control over what we give our attention to as long as we're aware of it. And so I'm begging you to ask yourself these questions on a regular basis so that you too can have a life that you're excited about, that you wake up, that you're pumped about. Shift your mindset from, oh, I have to go to work today, to I get to go to work today. There are people who would give their life to go back to work, to be able to do something productive, to be able to physically walk, to be able to cognitively connect and have complete thoughts, and be able to tolerate sound and light, and be able to connect with people that they care about and have an impact in their day-to-day life. And so if you're not in that space, I am asking you, inviting you, encouraging you, kicking your ass to really ask yourself that question. What would you do if you only had 3 hours a day? How would you spend those 3 hours a day? What would be the most important things you would do with that time to make sure you are connected with who you really are, what you really want to look back on, and what you don't want to regret? And so that is the question. It's somewhat morbid, but it's incredibly impactful. And I hope that you never have to have the situation where you are watching your life from the sidelines. If you do, if you end up in that situation, obviously call me, contact me. I will help you through it. But it is a really powerful place, and I would feel awful if I didn't share this with all of you so that you didn't have to have any regret. I had a lot of regret for those couple months of what I should have done and how I missed all these opportunities to do and to be and to love and to forgive and to let go. And I'm very grateful, and I'm so very aware of how fortunate I am to be in the situation where I am now, where I am rebuilding my life and I'm rebuilding my strength, and I'm truly living the life I want to live every day and moving closer and closer to a bigger goal and a bigger impact. And so I want to thank you for joining me on today's video, but also in this journey in general. And for those of you who have reached out, privately, asking for help when it comes to health and resources and direction and just kind of sharing your challenges with me, I appreciate it. I welcome it, and I look forward to cheering you on while you navigate your path and your journey to, creating a life that actually meets you where your soul is, rather than the expectations of everyone around you that result in regret. So I hope that you have a great Thursday. It's rainy here in Richmond. My husband and I are headed out of town for a couple days on a couples getaway. We do this quarterly, so if that's something that's on your list that you will wish that you have done, make that something you do soon. It is something that we love, and we gain so much from every time we do it. So I'm gonna check out from Facebook for a few days, and I'll see you again next week. Have a great weekend, and let me know below what are the things that you would do with 3 hours a day if that's all you had to live your life, not on the sidelines. How are you going to shift what you give your attention and your time and your energy to, knowing that at any moment you could be watching your life from the sidelines? I hope that never happens, and I hope that you start making your life exactly what you want it to be today if you haven't already. And I'm sending you big cheers and lots of love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.